Can I tell you something I did real quick?
Yeah.
My client, today was her last chemo treatment for breast cancer. I'm having card my yard go to her house and card her yard and say no mo chemo and have the ribbons and stuff
There
like that
you
in
go.
the yard.
That's sweet of you.
So I squeezed it in. You can't do same day appointments, but he's gonna come back. The guys from the company's gonna come back to Burlington this afternoon to do it.
Gotcha.
So that's how I was booking it. He told me to go ahead and book it online, so then he'll switch the day.
Gotcha. Well, that's sweet of you. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, baby.
Hey.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
10 years. It's been a decade.
A decade.
What'd you think? Would you do it all over?
Yeah. Like when you process like how long a decade is, like we're not old.
Yeah.
A decade, like, oh, we're 50. It's been a decade. No,
Yeah.
we're 25 and 27.
Forget how old I was.
Yeah.
So
25, 27, and we've been together a decade.
So I was 17. You were 15. You were a freshman.
I was a freshman in high school. You were a junior.
It's
Snagged an upperclassman.
It's crazy. And think about upperclassmen. For us to go through all that, of course, then me going into college, and people ask me.
He was embarrassed of me.
No, I was not. I was not
omit
embarrassed.
information. You wouldn't lie. You would be like, well, what grade's your girl in? Like, oh, she's a sophomore. But he didn't say sophomore in college or sophomore in high school.
Yeah. That ain't
He
lying.
was embarrassed.
No, it was true. You were
A sophomore. You just didn't
senior,
clarify.
then each year got better.
He didn't want
better.
people in college to know he was dating a high schooler.
That wasn't it.
Yes,
that wasn't
it was.
It wasn't. I promise it wasn't. Alright, but so today marks 10 years, a decade with us being together. We first started dating July 9th, 2014.
Yep.
Today is July 9th, 2024. So 10 years. We done been through the ups, we done been through the downs.
Yep.
It's been a blessing. And I would do it all over again with you.
Me too.
Don't you start crying.
I know, I'm already getting teary-eyed.
Yeah, so I love you. Thank you for everything
I love
that
you.
you do for me. You have done for me from the bottom to the top. Everything that you do for us and our family does not go unnoticed. And just thank you for being you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Getting
Never
teary-eyed
switch up.
stuff.
Never switch up. Well, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So today we're going to first let's start off. Let's welcome y'all in. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jay Williams.
Mrs. Williams.
That sounds good. Welcome to the Muscle Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, of course, Jay Williams, and today my co-host is my wife, Kenzie Vance Williams.
Hey.
All right, so today we're going to talk about 10 questions. 10 questions that I came up with that to let you in on about us. 10 questions, 10 years together. So I thought that played hand in hand together. So we're gonna talk about a few things. Maybe y'all can take some tips from about us, things that we've been through. You might be going through the same thing, or you've overcame it, or you just want to learn a little bit more about the Williams. So here it goes. Question one. What were some of the biggest challenges we faced as a couple in the past 10 years, and how did you overcome them? So question to you. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced as being with me in the past 10 years, and how did you overcome them? Or just something that we overcame?
I feel like in the early years of us being together, just being young was a challenge. Me being a lot younger than you. Not a lot younger, year and a half, 2, but that's 2 grades. That was hard. And long distance, like in the beginning, being younger meant that I didn't get to do a whole lot with you. I didn't even have a driver's license when we got together, but you did. So that meant you going and, you know, me not yet being allowed to ride with you in the car either. And some things you got to go do that I just still was too young to get to go do. So some of that was a little hard in the beginning. And then you going off to college, and me being in high school still, or also me going to a different college than you, and us spending all those years apart was hard. And like everybody always says that long distance doesn't work, like it doesn't, and we literally made it work. Like that wasn't even an issue.
Yeah, it was.
Like it was. That didn't even come up as an issue. Like most people fight, you know, or argue like the distance or this is not working. Like we had other things, you know, in life come up that were issues, but we never there was never a discussion of like this isn't working, because that just it wasn't an excuse being long distance from each other.
Well, I think that is an excuse for most people as a way out, and long distance is what they blame it on, long distance, but it was definitely something else. That was just their way out of that relationship, to be able to use that as an excuse. And it is hard. We're not taking it off that it wasn't hard. It was terrible, and like there were weeks and weeks and a month like where we didn't go like see each other in person, and like that's hard, but like we knew the love we had for each other was stronger than that. And like the time we did get to spend together, like we like used every moment of that. But I think that made us stronger, because like in a relationship you need to miss the other person, and we had been together for like every day prior. Like we would see each other all the time and see each other at school, and so like going from seeing each other every day to like not seeing each other for like weeks, like you really like grow to appreciate the time that you do get to see each other, so you don't take it for granted. Even if we just got to see each other for a few hours back at home, meeting in the middle, and then that was it, like we really cherish those just little bit of time. Whereas if we seen each other every day, you start not to appreciate all the little moments, even just riding out to go get something to eat, or just sitting here for an hour talking before we have to go back to school. Like we really appreciated those like little moments. We also had to have time to miss each other too, and we definitely missed each other, so that like it grows your like want for that person, because you just want to see them so bad. I totally agree.
But we've also had many other struggles, you know, throughout our life. 10 years together. Life
has happened.
I mean, you go through being young, high school, graduating college, you know, separately, starting a family, figuring out where we're going to live, apartments first, then dog getting sick, trying to figure out that, trying to figure out finances with each other. How do we both handle that? We've never been together with that. We got together where finances, house, life wasn't a thing, but we built that together, and we kind of both went through every firsts that could happen together. First apartments together, first house together, first animal together, and now first child together. Like everything is like a first, because we met so young. So everything that we go through is going to be a struggle at first, because we've never been through it. But getting to go through it with your best friend and love of your life is like the best, because it's like you don't have to be scared or worried. Like we're going through it together. It's not like I'm going through it by myself or you're going through it by yourself for the first time. We're both learning as we go, and we've had struggles and ups and downs, but you just have to get through it. Like there's no other choice. We're together to the end.
Yeah, to the end.
To the end.
There ain't, yeah. To the end. To the end. All right, number 2.
Okay.
How has our relationship evolved since high school days to where we are now? You can, or I can. No.
I mean, we're very more mature and evolved in our relationship me and you always said from day one, communication, that's it. Like, everything else falls in line after that. Like, the love, everything else that comes easy to us, but the communication is what holds everything else together. That's the foundation. Yeah. Like, we've always been very open with each other, sometimes probably too open with each other, but we don't let things fester. We tell each other if there is an issue. We don't let it go on for weeks. We don't bring up past things or old things, which is huge. We just, if there's something that comes up, me and you just talk about it. Like, hey, I didn't like this, or so, like, from the beginning where it would have been more of like lashing out or more of saying hey, or
not knowing how to communicate.
Knowing how to communicate. That's good. Like, because like now we are so much more in tune with our feelings that it's like, am I really mad at you for something, or is it something else that I have going on that I'm just kind of putting it on you? And like, me and you really can see that now. Because where it would be like we would have like a conversation about something or a discussion about something, we now are like, come back, especially me, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that at you, I was mad about something else. But like it is so quicker. It's like not like a week later I realized I was wrong, or I realized that I could have handled that better. We realized it like hours later or a day later, like, hey, after I thought about it more. And even sometimes like now we think it through like an hour or two before we even bring it up or say something, just to be like, is this really worth bringing up? Because when you're younger, as soon as something hits your brain, you just come out with it. And I just feel like the maturity and us being more in tune with each other, like we know each other so good now that it's so like, it's easy to have an argument or discussion. Like, that sounds weird to say it's easy, but it is easy because we know we're going to talk through it regardless if we're on the same page or not. And just because we talk through it and communicate does not mean we're on the same page. Because sometimes we're just not on the same page at all. Like, you just do your thing, I'll do mine on something. But because we talked about it and understood each other's points, we might not agree, but like, I feel like that's like our maturity in understanding each other and learning each other and learning how we handle things together.
Yeah, because before, and when you talk about communication, I totally agree with that. When it's before early stages of our relationship, it will be easier for us to argue. Because the arguments came from not knowing how to communicate what we wanted to get out, what needed to be said. And then over the years, we stopped allowing the argument. And just because we have a disagreement doesn't mean that we have to argue. It might be a tiff, disagreement, but there's some way, somehow has to be some type of compromise, in which before we didn't know how to compromise as well. It was either we doing what I wanted to do or we doing what you want to do, and it's not really taking into account how the other person is feeling. So we would just roll with it. But now we're in a place where the decisions that I make and that you make, even if that other person doesn't necessarily, it can be something simple as dinner. You might want a certain dinner, knowing that, I might want a certain dinner, and you want to go out, but technically I want to stay in and eat or whatever. Regardless if we got takeout, we might not agree on that same restaurant or something like that. So there has to be some type of compromise in which that's something big, because you love going out on dates and stuff like that. I mean, I do too, but I'm more of the, hey, let's stay inside. I'd rather get takeout. You'd rather eat inside. So there has to be some type of compromise somewhere.
Or we eat at separate restaurants. Like, we'll get takeout at separate restaurants because he wants one thing, I want another. We'll just do our own thing. And we would never do that before. Like, when you're younger, like, no, we're gonna choose, and we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing. Now we're like,
I get what I want. You get what you want.
Sometimes at the end of the day, you just got to do whatever makes everybody happy.
Yeah.
And then some days we do things that don't make either one of us happy.
Yeah. But you just start. Once you start to understand each other.
Yep.
You will be able to agree a little bit more with each other for the decisions that. So if you. Example, you want to go out to a certain restaurant, you want to go to Village or something, I may not like it, and I used to not like that at all, but now I'm fine with it because I actually found something, and it wasn't because of let's say we're going out to eat, we're going there to eat. It wasn't necessarily about the eating, it was about spending the time with each other and spending the time in a happy place. That's something that brings you happiness. So those are some things that you just have to be aware, be willing to communicate and compromise, because communication and compromising is going to have to be something that you will have to do for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And to get you through the good times and the bad times.
Yep. Sacrifice too.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to be willing to sacrifice what you want or what it is just for the other person. Maybe they're not having a good day today, or maybe you're just like, okay, well, it's their turn. Like, you just have to, like, just take it sometimes. Like, it just is like, okay, well, I've kind of done what I want, or I've got what I want for a couple days, or, or here and there. Like, I'm going to let them choose, or I'm going to let them do their thing or what they want to do. Like, you have to, like, kind of, like, let them do that sometimes.
Yeah. Number 3. What lessons did we learn during the time that we were apart, and how did it strengthen our relationship once we reunited? So this is talking about the time in which we had broke up for a little bit, and then we had came back together. So what lessons did we learn during that time? Like, who did you have to become for us to then come back together?
Well, the lessons of being apart were, to me, we've always said, well, for me, I'm like, if we did not break up when we did, and this was very early on, but if we did not break up, we would not be together today. Because... And
we were 2 years dating.
2 years dating before we broke up, and we broke up for like 8 months or so?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
For about that time.
I gave you a promise ring before that as well.
And so this was like serious. Like, we had already, like, I know 2 years seems early, but like we had really like connected together. Yeah. We were in love. So the breakup was not just like easy, but like we needed that. Like, when you find somebody like you that just is like how you are to me now, you're just so perfect, and like everything that I need. Stop, I'm gonna interrupt.
Go ahead, it's all right. And
everything that I need. So like early on, like you think like you have somebody like, okay, like you this is not how I thought. Like, I don't know, but like this is just general. You think like, oh, there's something else, or like, oh, well, just this one little small thing was getting on my nerves. Like, you didn't listen to me, or things like that. Like, I can't really honestly specifically remember why. I think truly we were spending way too much time together, and like we never had that opportunity to miss each other, to appreciate what we had. So for me, the 8 months apart and then coming back so strong, like we hadn't really seen each other, been around each other in so long, like months and months, and then when we seen each other for the first time, it was like electrifying, like, because you just don't sometimes appreciate what you have until it's gone, until you realize, even if it's gone quick time, you still don't realize that that's it. And then by the time we got back together, it was like we realized, like, this is it. Like there's no one better. There's no one that's gonna treat me like this. There's no one that's gonna make me feel this way, love me the way you love me. Like, it's like you had to realize, and I had to realize, that this, like, you were it. Like, the little arguments, the back and forth, the getting on each other's nerves, the not agreeing or anything like that that's worth this. So like you had to come back, but we would not be together. If we did not have them 8 months, we would not be together because there would be no appreciation for what we have.
That's where that distance.
Yep.
We had to distance ourselves because we were so young, and we didn't
feel so emotion so much more
being young too. Yeah.
Everything hurts worse.
Yeah. So like a lot of people at that time would say like we thought we were in love. Some people would just say lust, but when I look back, I loved you.
I loved you.
I didn't want to go through that breakup. I wanted to fight for whatever it was that we had left. I wanted to fight to make it right. But you making that decision for us, and that's where the compromise is.
And I didn't want to fight for anything, but I also think that's the communication is I was feeling those feelings way before that I let you know that. So then when I let you know that, it was like, it was so quick. Like, why are you one and done? You didn't want to work it out, but I also didn't let you know for a long time, like what I was feeling or that you're getting on my left nerve or anything like that. Like I did, because we didn't tell each other. So if now being us, if that happened again, like we know it wouldn't even happen because we know to address the issue when we started feeling it instead of I didn't let you know. So then it was more of like a blind side, like dang, she didn't even want to fight for us. I'm sure you were so angry. Yeah, because it was like, why wouldn't you, if we're so in love, why wouldn't you fight to try? But I had already, for me, I felt like I had been fighting to try for a while.
I guess it's because
I didn't let you know.
I didn't have that chance to fight for you. And I only had, from the time of you saying, hey, we're done, to the time we're actually made that final decision, we're done. I only had that maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks to really fight for what I wanted. But which you were technically, you're already done. You're already gone. And I didn't know that. But I think through me fighting allowed me to realize, and I don't know, maybe to you unconsciously, hey, he really does love me. Although this is what I want for myself. But I wanted to continue to fight through that. But I'm glad that we had broke up, because now we truly believe that, hey, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be here, because we were able to, during those 8 months, we were able to grow as individuals where we didn't have that time. We was in high school, so we weren't able to grow into the people, the best versions of ourselves. We wasn't given time to dream of what and who we wanted to become, and be able to get out with our friends and have fun. Yep. Not saying that we didn't have fun, because we always had fun when we were with each other. We did a lot, but it was just allowing us that time to figure out what we truly wanted as an individual. And once we truly figured that out, then when I had came back for spring break just to come see your mama, you walked down those steps, didn't know you were there. Honestly, I was hoping that you was going to be there, but then again, I was hoping that you weren't going to be there, because I didn't know, but I always kept in contact. That's one thing I would say is that I kept in contact. I let her know when she said, I don't want to see you, I don't want to talk to you. I was still saying, hey, I love you. I never stopped loving you. I always kept in contact with her mom, and I don't know if her mom communicated that with her, but it was, I did what I had to do to make sure that you knew that I loved you, and nothing was going to change that. And over time, then we seen each other during that spring break, my spring break. Those sparks just got to flying. Was that the night that we kissed? Was that the first time we kissed after 8 months?
Yeah.
So
like we just seen each other. We literally just seen each other.
You came down the steps.
Talked for maybe a few minutes.
Right at the front door.
And it was a kiss. Like And it was like
See, I always knew that you wanted me. Like, you ain't never.
Bye.
Cause you laid it on me.
Yeah, I'll let you know what you were missing.
Well, yeah.
But it was electrifying. It was like everything that, like 8 months prior, the kisses, it wasn't electrying. It was just what we did every single day, seeing each other in high school every single day, every single day on the weekend, every single day with our friends, seeing us with our, like, every day. So then the 8 months, it just realized, like, okay. And then after the 8 months is when we started going to colleges and doing all that too. So then we knew what that 8 months distance felt like. We never wanted to go through that again, and we went through it 4 more years.
And what made it hard, was, like, for me, was my freshman year in college. You were still in high school. So, and I went to ACC. So I was still in the same town that you were in. So it wasn't like I went straight to ECU right out of high school. We were still around, so, and you were still playing ball. I'd be hearing things and all that. And it was just, I went through those hard times, struggled, depressed at times. But through all that, I learned who I was. So then when we came back together, after I was already got to ECU, came back, then it was nothing, but we didn't get back together as soon as we kissed. It took a while. You had to earn that. Yeah, you had to earn that one. Couldn't make it too easy, even though it probably was easy. All right, let's get it on to the next one.
Okay.
What are we on, 4? All right, so question 4, how do you maintain a healthy balance between your personal life, work life, and family responsibilities? So how do we maintain that healthy balance?
You have to know what your priorities are. My priority every single day, number 1, is you and our family. That's, everything else comes second. But I mean, work is important. We have to do it to keep our family going. So I feel like we make known our needs and our wants. So, like, that took a while as well to, like, be in tune with, like, what do I need from you every day?
Your love language.
And what you need from me. So we know, like, on certain days and things like that, like, hey, maybe I only work a few hours and then I need to come home and spend some time. Or, hey, are you good with me today? We work very flexible jobs, so we kind of can move things around when we need to, but sometimes things come up. But, like, knowing, hey, if I work in the morning, we can have that time in the afternoon. Or, hey, you know that I love being with you, so, like, you get your work done in the morning so I can see you in the afternoon, or switching schedules up. But just, I think, knowing what we need, but we also verbally let each other know that, like, I really feel like I haven't seen you in a few days, like, as much as I want, so I need to see you today.
Yeah. And one thing I would say, knowing what each other need, so I know what you need, you know what I need, but also the wants, because we all have those wants and needs, but knowing the difference, knowing that every day this is something that she needs. That want might be something, hey, I could have this every day. I don't necessarily have to have it, but this is something
I want you home every day.
Yeah. And just you being like a stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom, but you're still working from home with your real estate and everything, and I'm out getting out with my business and stuff like that, training, coaching. It just, once we figured out this is what we want, figuring out the life that we want to live, the dreams that we have for ourselves is the key. So then we know where we are and where we're trying to go. But also knowing that everything won't go as planned, but being able to pivot in the right direction, being able to come back to the table, communicate, hey, this is something switched up, this is what I need, this is what has to happen, even if it's for a short amount of time where I might not be as open, as flexible with my hours, but now we're in a position to where I can be at home pretty much any time that I want. You can be at home anytime that you want, and we're able to come together.
But that also is not sounding like we don't work.
Yeah,
We work 24/7.
Yeah, we work.
It just depends on what's going on. Like, and I always appreciate you being flexible with mine, because we could have plans and we gotta switch them up to go show a house, or we gotta move something back to go do something or stuff like that. So we have to be willing to be flexible with each other sometimes. A little bit of patience. I have a lot less than you when my time away from you is being taken a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it. But
I know that's what you need, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
So I know that, but that's where the communication comes in, that because we've been in that place where for 6 months or more, I've had my head down.
Yep.
Where I'm getting up at 4 a.m., come home at like 11:30, something like that, go straight to sleep, well, get something to eat, go straight to sleep, only see you for a little bit, and then I have to turn around and go right back to work at 3:30 to pretty much 8 o'clock. But that's where the communication, you knowing what I have to do, you been beside me through it all, but when those times come where I might not be as busy, I'm making sure I'm making you a priority as well. And through those stages, I wanted to still make you a priority, even if it felt like I wasn't. But you made me feel like, hey, what I'm doing is important. So it made it a lot easier for us to go through those stages, to where now we're definitely on the other side of that, to where it was all worth it. At the end of the day, to where I make my own schedule now. You make your own schedule. We can leave, jump up, go on
change
vacation.
Our schedule.
Yep. Go to the lake on a midway through the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, stay all week. We just done that last week, and we were still able to handle our business if and when needed.
And stop yawning.
But it's all good, and those simple things right there is what's important. Do you like it? It was a nasty.
I mean, it's not nasty. Okay, next question.
Would you drink it again?
I feel like that needs to have like alcohol in it. I'm not drinking anything fruity like that unless it has alcohol. There's no point. I just stick with water and tea.
Yes. All right, so number 5. Can we share some tips on effective communication and conflict resolution within a marriage? Effective communication is knowing how to say what we want to say, or think before we say what we want to say, to make sure it comes. Because like for you, this could be a woman thing. I could say one thing, I could text one thing, I could say one thing, and you completely heard it the way you wanted to hear it, and it was nowhere.
He could send a text that was just like, hey, I don't want to go to that restaurant tonight, but I heard it as, I don't want to go to that restaurant tonight. And that makes me mad. So I agree. So like, knowing this comes back to, you got to know your person. You got to know, this is not something I'm going to text you, I'm going to tell you in person. Or call, because even sometimes I take that wrong. Like if you say something in person, because your face might be saying something different than your words. So definitely knowing how to communicate with that certain individual, and the way I communicate with you might not be the way I communicate with Luca. It might not be the way I communicate with my sisters or my mom, whoever it might be. It's knowing your person, knowing how to communicate, because communication is the key, and being able to trust each other with the decisions that's being made that might affect you. So the decisions that I make
that I might make might somehow and probably will affect you, but you're trusting me to make those right decisions for us if it happens in a time where I didn't communicate when I should, or I just didn't have time to communicate because everything was moving so fast. So
that takes time though, because like that's definitely not something we could have known about that in the beginning, but the maturity of being together and learning each other. And it's not that you need to learn each other's, you need to ask the other person sometimes, like, what do you need? Like, how do you want me to relay this if I have a problem? And like, we understood that. Like, not that we like cuss or anything, but you always from day one is like, don't cuss at me. We can talk about it. Don't do that. So that was up front. But I mean, throughout our life, we really never really had an argument. We don't really call them arguments because we don't have arguments. An argument to me is like really serious.
Yeah, but they're
like,
go ahead.
We just have discussions. Like, we don't agree. We might be still angry.
Tensions can be high.
At the end of the day, but we're not arguing.
Cussing each other out. Anything like this.
Yeah, no disrespect. We're not on the same page. But at the end of the day, like you said, we trust each other. So if it was something that was in my best interest that you just decided on or I decided on, we've built that level of trust where at the end of the day, I trust you, that you have my best interests and you're just going to handle the situation, even though like we might not like the decision. Yeah. We trust each other.
But those are just, you got to have principles, ground rules.
Yep.
Because without those principles, and so like a principle for us is we're not yelling at each other.
Don't walk off.
Don't go to sleep mad.
No cussing.
No cussing. I mean, there might be
raising voice.
Yes, yeah.
That one I'm just a loud person in general.
Yeah.
So that's one I have to work with a lot, is not to.
And it comes natural because one person, you're naturally loud. So I take that into consideration as well, which before in our younger days I didn't. Where I would think you just being loud, which your voice might still raise up a little bit because the tensions are high, but it ain't like we're arguing out loud. It's just you're just a little bit more emotional to what we're talking about. So you're going to express yourself in that way. But now I know how to communicate with you. And although my voice might get a little louder or a little bit more emotional, we're knowing how to go about that. So
number one thing too, that is like one of the biggest things I think that we didn't hit on is we do not argue, discussion, whatever you want to call it, in front of anybody. Mm-hmm. And that was huge. That's so different. That is one of the things that really sets us apart, because we can have the same problem, same argument, same discussion as everybody else, but it doesn't escalate because we don't discuss it in front of other people. We don't have that argument in front of other people. We don't call each other out in front of anybody else. So we could have something that seriously, like, that would be an argument to somebody, but we're gonna wait till our friends leave to have a discussion. Or me, I'm gonna text you across the room and we're just gonna talk it through, because I'm usually a person that I want to get it over with. I want to like go ahead right now. Like, I can't sit with it for 2 hours later. Like, I want to come out while you're working out and tell you something or something, but we don't do that in front of other people. And that's been huge, that I really respect of us. And I feel like that's why people think like sometimes like we don't argue, we don't have stuff, like, but we do. And like we, like just anybody else, but we're just not gonna bring it to everybody's attention, because we know, especially early on in our relationship, the more people know about problems, then they get involved. Other people's opinions get involved. Families' opinions get involved.
That's protecting
our house. Like, once you, because truly, once you, like, especially family and friends, if you let them know like, it could be just a little argument that we get over in a day, but you tell your family or friends what the issue was, then that becomes resentment. And then that's harder to get your family or friends to respect your partner at the end of the day, because they don't forget. We can move on and forgive, but our family and friends might not do that. So definitely not involving other people, because at the end of the day, we're going to get over it.
Yeah.
We might not even think about what we said today tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if there's other people involved, then they'll be like, well, what happened with this? Or did y'all resolve this? I can't believe they did that. You know, like, you don't want to involve other people.
Let's give them an example. One that was more recent. We were in Florida, EXP conference.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Did we have an argument?
Real estate conference. What, it was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Was it 2 years ago? We were at a hibachi where they cook in front of you and everything. And I forgot, I don't know what you said.
We were the group of our friends.
Yeah. Other couples, singles as well.
He said something I didn't like or something embarrassed me.
You.
Yeah, you said, like,
I know
you
what it was.
embarrassed me about the birthday.
Yes, we said it was your birthday and you really didn't want
I had told him, don't do that. Like, don't tell anybody it's my birthday, because it was one of our friends' birthdays that was at the table most recent, and mine was like 5 months off.
Yeah.
And it was like somebody at the table was most recent birthday, and I didn't want him to say it was my birthday, because I didn't want to overshadow them or take their...
But everybody was egging it on.
Take their flowers from them, because it was their birthday. So I didn't want him to tell them it was my birthday. And I told him 2 or 3 times, don't tell them it was my birthday.
And everybody else egging me on to say it. But
and it fired me up on the inside. And I cussed.
You said something to me.
And that was a no-no.
And it was out loud. And...
yes, maybe only 1 or 2 people might have heard it, but
everybody heard it, but everybody didn't take it that way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was the only one that took it.
And then I didn't know that. I also didn't know that we had a problem. I didn't know he was mad until I realized later on, like maybe 20 some minutes later, that you hadn't really spoke to me, and like I can tell by your face, but I didn't even know, because you kept it.
Yeah,
kept it down.
That's because nobody else needed to know. Know that.
And then I was like, "What's wrong?" And you're like, "Don't cuss at me."
Yeah, and that was in front of everybody.
And I was like, I felt so much guilt. Like when you said that, I was like, did I cut? Like, what did I say? Like, I didn't even know, because I was so hot at the time. I just said what came out. Yeah. I didn't even half remember what was done, and I didn't even know you were mad. So like
nobody knew. I kept it in. She didn't know I was mad till the vibes that she was getting from me from sitting beside her. But everybody, I was the only one that took that the wrong way, because that is a principle that we have. It was taken
the wrong way. I mean, no, like, you were right.
Yeah.
Because after a few minutes of me sitting there reflecting, I was like, God, I did yell. Yeah. And I did cuss. Yeah. And that was uncalled for.
Yeah, and I was the only one that
apologized.
Took it the wrong way, but that other people talk like that to each other, and it's okay. So they just think that's just something normal, the way that we would probably talk, or that people talk to each other. But that's not something that's not how we talk. I'll go get them in a second. And
most people in your position would have went ahead and just went off on me at the table and like, don't you do that? Or like, well, like whatever. And we don't do that. Like, we hold it in. We discuss it later. Yeah. But knowing when we're wrong, I was wrong. And I apologize, because after I sat there and thought about it, I was like, yeah, I did. Yeah. I did get hot.
I mean, I was good. But it was just that I couldn't go to sleep thinking about that. I had to have let her know.
And that's something small. And like some of the things we discuss are so small. It's like, why would you even discuss it? But the small things lead up to the big things, where people, after like 5 little tiny things that mean nothing, add up to the one bit when you actually have something that matters to discuss or argue about. Then all that comes flooding in. Whereas like just something like that. Like, we just say, go ahead and address that. So then the next thing we have is just that small thing. It's only ever small things, and it's never big things. It's never something big that's like, well, 5 weeks ago, you cussed at me and pissed me off, and I didn't say nothing then. Yeah. Well, it's like, well, you're saying it now. So we just address it.
Go and address it.
Just the tiniest, stupidest thing we'll discuss.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. We're going to keep this thing rolling. No, ain't no time out. We're going to keep this thing rolling. Let me go get my son real quick. I think we're on question 6.
This is perfect. Do you want me to read the question?
Yeah, when I get back.
Okay.
Hey, baby boy.
Sorry, guys. Our son just woke up.
What's up, big dog?
He probably heard us and he just wanted to be on the podcast. Our dog Lucy's also been in here the whole time. She rolled her ball up underneath us and has been scared to come get it. So
you got a mama's
she's been
boy,
standing there,
you a daddy's boy,
staring at us the whole time. You wanted to be on the podcast, didn't you? Yes, you did. Bubba, hi. Hi, say hey. Today you show him my belly.
All right.
Say hey, everybody. I'm Luca.
Big dog. All right, go ahead.
Lucy's down here as well. She says hey, guys.
Hey, babe. All right.
Ready for the next question, Bubs? Okay. How has becoming parents changed your dynamic as a couple, and what advice do you have for other parents?
I don't know if because our dynamic was so strong before we had him. I think because we had Lucy, it just came natural to us.
It has changed though.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, being a little bit more flexible and understanding. We've always been flexible, but like, it just has to be on a whole nother level.
Yeah, patience
with each other, with knowing, especially this is me, things aren't always going to go as planned, and you're such a great person that just lets it roll off when things don't go exact to plan, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So you've kind of really helped me like balance that, because having a kid ain't nothing gonna be a set plan.
Yeah.
Because it's just not.
So you just us learning to roll with the punches. But I think that with everything that we've been through allowed us to be able to already be strong in that aspect. Mm-hmm. Being able to just roll with everything. So then when it came to us having him, it was easier.
Yep.
Which if we weren't prepared through everything that we have been through, it could have seemed really, really hard. Although, I mean, being a parent, honestly, you make it look easy.
You make it look easy.
and I love you for it, and motherhood came natural to you. So I just think that being who we are for each other,
mm-hmm.
we
pick up the slack.
Yes, and we're able to complement each other. When one is weak, the other one is strong, and we just like ain't no questions being asked. We go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do really good at that, picking up what the other needs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, life does change with a baby. I mean,
mm-hmm.
It just does, and for me a little bit, it was harder in the beginning. You got to realize what life is like. Your life has changed forever.
Yeah.
And so you being my number one,
mm-hmm.
like having to realize that I have to like share that now.
Yeah.
And we always won't get that quality time just alone, but like learning what a different quality time looks like. And also you appreciate the moments.
Yeah.
Like, we might get an hour while he's taking a nap to just be together. We appreciate that more. Yeah.
And I just think that, like when you talk about sharing your time with you is like your love language.
Yes.
So me having him, and I'm a very hands-on dad.
Yep.
Having that time with him, but me knowing how to still give you all the time that you need and not make you feel like you're second, because you're always going to be my first. Because without you, I wouldn't have him. So that's, as a parent, as a husband, as your best friend, I'm always going to put you first. And I think that's where that dynamic comes in, that because although I'm putting you first doesn't mean that he's second or Lucy's second. We
have to put each other first for all of this to continue.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't do that. Your kid is your everything, and he is our everything.
Yeah.
But you can't forget about the needs of your partner, because that's the person that you're going to get through this life with, you're going to grow old with.
Yeah.
That's going to be the one that's taking care of you every single day. So you can't mess this up.
Yeah.
Because then if this is messed up, then that's not going to be good for the child either. You want this, because this is the foundation for him, for life, how he's going to see us acting together, growing up. Like, so if we're not good, he's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
What role has mutual support and encouragement played in your journey together? I feel like we've talked about it.
Yeah.
We overly support each other in everything we do. We're not going to let each other go through anything alone.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, you have your business, I have my business. But at the end of the day, they're our businesses together, because I can't do what I do without you. You can do what you got to do without me.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't.
He holds it. He holds everything down for both of us, because I do what I do in my profession, and I know what I'm doing and everything, but like the support and everything that I need to be able to do, like I can't do without you. So I can't run my life or my business or my family without you. So everything
you won't have to run it without me.
Everything that support we do is we just do together.
Yeah.
Like nothing is just you, nothing is just me. If you need me for something or I need you, we're there.
Yeah. And I will literally, if I can have a full day, and if she needs me for something, I will cancel everything that I have to make sure I am there for you, because at the end of the day, no work, no person, no nothing is going to come before you. But that's where that dynamic, those roles that we have in each other's life are so important, and loving each other to know, hey, regardless of what we go through, however bad it gets, however good it gets, we still gonna be there, and you still gonna be my number one. So, all right, next one. What question is this? 8.
How do you keep the spark alive in your relationship after 10 years of marriage, 10 years of dating?
10, yeah.
3 years.
We date.
3 years of marriage. Almost
3 years of marriage.
Almost 3. 10 years of being together. How do you keep the spark alive?
I'm gonna be honest. I ain't never got tired of you. And I think that spark, and like I truly love you. I think you the most sexiest thing, fine thing. And just being crazy about you. Like that's the key. Crazy.
We are crazy.
Yeah. And a lot of people see that, like when we're together, most people compliment us like they wish they had what we have.
Or they've just never seen anybody love the way we love.
Yeah. And when I say you're my ride or die, I love you, or when we say that, because we're on the same page with it.
Yep.
And she calls me sexy every day. You fine. I'm saying the same thing. Like those simple things are.
We could look terrible.
Yeah.
We could look, feel, smell. Absolutely terrible, and we just know that makes each other happy. Like he might be like, "You're just beautiful today." I'm like, "I don't know what you're looking at today. I ain't brushed my teeth, hair, nothing yet." Or he could be sweaty coming out of the gym, stink, and you're just awesome. Like every day's not going to be perfect. We're not going to be picture perfect. We're not going to be perfect every day, but we are to each other.
Yes.
Because like what you see and what I see is not the same. Like I could be a hot mess and you're just the most beautiful person.
Yes,
and I'm just, but you need that, and you need to know that that's what your partner needs. Like you're a very words of affirmation person. So like you like to hear good things and stuff like that, and we don't just say them to say them. Like we mean what we say.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and literally every day, we usually say something about how beautiful one another is, how much we love each other. Mm-hmm.
Kiss each other, like laugh. Like one of our biggest things though together is laughing and talking, because that keeps it going. But we do know we get like. There's some lulls that happen, like because of life. Like we'll be both working so much, or we're having him, and we just know like 2 or 3 days goes by. It's like, okay, well we need to spend a little bit more time together. Or we need to watch a movie and cuddle, or we need to hold hands as we're walking outside, or just the little things. It keeps the spark, because once you just don't do anything, and if there is a time that if something's not going right, we talk about it. Like, hey, we ain't been cuddling as much, we ain't been kissing as much. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna step it up. Like, hey, you need to step your game up, or I need to step my game up.
No. And being able to call each other out.
It's like, you ain't kissed me in a few hours.
Yeah. I mean, I just kissed you, but then you talking junk that I ain't kissed you. But that's where that is her, and that is us. And I know you could say that, and I could have just kissed you 5 seconds ago, but I know you gonna want another one. I just touched you. I just said I love you. I just said I miss you. You miss me, and I'm
right here.
Right here.
I just miss you. I want to be with you 24/7.
So, and that right there, that's honestly what keeps that spark going.
Having fun, being silly, just
being best friends.
Being yourself.
Be yourself. Continue to be best friends.
Don't take life so serious. This is just fun.
Yes.
Some days are going to be serious. Some days are going to be fun. Some days we won't say nothing to each other, 2 or 3 words. Some days we'll talk for hours. But that's life.
Yeah. And we just like to have a great time with each other. I'd rather be with you than without you. So, and I want you with me all the time. I do. Out of the 24 hours, I do need my hour alone.
No. It's not okay with giving you any hour.
But
I like 25/8. It's like I need more than the 24/7.
No.
Like I don't even want to go to sleep.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Because I miss you. I'm like, we'll be in bed sometimes about to go to sleep. I'm like, I just don't want to go to sleep, because that's like 8 hours I don't get to talk to you.
No lie. See, we are not making this podcast right here, this episode.
We're not making anything.
This is straight up. This is straight up.
And he looks at me like I'm crazy.
But that's what that spark. That's what keeps the spark, and us not even having to think about it. That's what keeps it. All right, let's go on to the next.
What are some shared goals or dreams that have brought you closer together as a couple?
Well, having baby boy right here.
Mm-hmm.
See, having baby boy right here was a goal. Well, both of us knew that we wanted. And having baby girl. Yeah.
Lucy wanted to be on the pod.
So us knowing what we wanted as individuals, then coming together to make those things happen. Read that question again.
What are our shared goals or dreams that brought you closer together as a couple?
Yes, so a dream, we always wanted the house. We always wanted the nice cars. We always wanted a baby, a dog, all those things, but being able to live the life that we want to live and pretty much live it on our own terms. Having those goals, being able to pivot when certain goal might not go as planned, being able to pivot and still work those things out, so then that way our dreams aren't put on pause for whatever the case may be. Is
I'm just wondering if you're gonna hear Luca going in the mic.
They love
I know.
Luca, so it'll be alright. I think we can get with that. Yeah.
I feel like our goals and stuff change.
Yes.
But we talk about it a lot because we'll get to it like randomly on a Sunday drive home from the lake. Be like, hey, what do you want the next little bit to look like, or what are our goals for this year, or what are our goals for the next 5 years, or whatever. But like we have to keep. But we have like so many shared goals, but we also have like you got to have separate goals that are ultimately all together.
Yeah.
Like you have a goal for your business, I have a goal for my business, a goal for life, what I want my life to look like, what you want your life to look like, but at the end of the day,
it's together.
It's together. And like, but what you have to do sometimes is like we've hit our main goals in life. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we have to be like me and Jay have never really been satisfied 100% with everything. We have everything we need in life, but we always want
everything we got everything we want.
We want and need, but we always want more. But it's not necessarily we like have to have more. Like we want to keep it going. We know we can't keep settling, because then, you know, you have to keep having goals, keep having higher goals to keep working hard for. We want to give him a good life. That's our goal.
Yeah.
We want to give him everything he asks for. Him to go wherever he wants to go, whenever he wants to go. And if he wants a toy every single day for the rest of his life, he's going to get it.
He can get that toy. Yes, he can.
He's going to get the brand new truck at 16.
No, he's going to get mine.
Even though Dad says he's not getting one.
He can get my truck, and I'll get the new truck.
No, he's going to get him a new truck.
Not like mine still be fairly new, but
brand new 20, 40.
No.
50.
No, he ain't getting none that new.
Anyway, look at Mom will get you a new truck, baby. But yes, big thing to me, you can't be complacent, but you also have to be happy with where you're at.
Yeah.
And for a lot of time, like in life, in us being together over the 10 years, is we were never really satisfied with where we were at. Even though we have like a great relationship, great things at that time, we were never satisfied. So it kind of always felt like especially for me, like a little something like that just wasn't right, because I just couldn't be satisfied. Yeah. And honestly, I'm taking time to like learn, but I'm truly at peace now. Whereas like I'm not always thinking about the next thing. I'm really like trying to like live in the moment. Mm-hmm. Like there's things we want to go on trips whenever we want. We still can go on trips right now, kind of when we want, but like we have to really plan it, think about it, making sure it's what's right. Yeah. And that's what maybe I always want us to be able to do whatever, but like I'm truly at peace and happy with where we're at. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the sloppers.
Yeah. All right, last one?
Yep.
All right.
What advice would you give to other couples who aspire to have a strong and enduring relationship like yours?
I really think if you go back into this episode, you'll be able to pretty much take away something from all 10 questions, from the answers that we gave to those questions. But
we're not perfect.
We're
life's not perfect.
We're not perfect.
We're perfect
but
for each
we're
other.
perfect for each other. So that right there is the key. So once you find that one person that, hey, I just don't want to do life without, hold on to them. Go through those ups and downs, because you're going to have a lot of bad times, but you're gonna also have a lot of good times. But it's what you're doing, how you're getting through those times together. Communication, trusting one another. What, baby? Hold on.
What?
Can you wait just a second while we finish?
What's that?
Can you wait just a second? You want to put on Diddy's hip? Hold on, mama. Put it on right, mama.
What's all right?
I think I'm sideways. Alright, but trusting one another, communication, being willing to love each other through the good and the bad. Never going to bed mad at each other. Always have dreams, always think about the other person. And just continue to keep loving one another and know that you both will have to complement each other, compromise with each other, but complement each other. When one person is at 20%, all they can give is 20%, that other person has to give 80.
Yep.
And that goes both ways, and never pointing the finger because you're in this together. Never once have we spoke about divorce, so that's never a question.
Not a word you use.
Yeah, we, like, even through us talking with our pastor and stuff, like having our meetings before we got married and everything, like there was never any talk about us splitting.
It's never going to be a discussion.
Never a discussion, because if that becomes a discussion, that becomes an option.
And so it's never an option for us.
That means that you always will have a way out. And when I put
our way out is in the dirt, and even then we're going to heaven together.
There it is.
We're gonna have a mansion in heaven.
It's just that.
But we put God first.
Yep.
We know that that's something that is important to us, so we make sure that that's something that we put in the forefront. And
I appreciate you for keeping us strong that way, making sure that you make sure that you're going to have, you're going to go to church. And you making that a priority. Because for me, I could easily watch it on TV. I can easily do church at home. Yeah. But you're going with your family, going with your mom to church, and you make that a priority. And which that's something that I love about you, and you've made me stronger in that way as well. So I appreciate you, and that's something that where I might be 20% in, you're 80, 100% in, but you're having to pick up that extra 80 for me, or I could be 80, whatever it is, and you picking up that extra 20 for me too, so we can always be complete with each other. So
I feel like my main advice would just be don't give up. Don't settle for less, but don't give up, because life is not going to be happiness and 100% 24/7. It's not going to be. You're going to have some of the worst days of your life together. And even when you get older, death of family members, things that's happened, it's gonna affect you. But we have to, we know we're going through it together. We've already had tough times, but knowing that that's your person, and you have to know that in the beginning of marriage. Before you get into marriage, you have to know how serious this is when things in life start happening, because things are going to happen. I'm going to have days where I'm, like you said, I'm going to be at a 5%, and it's can you pick up a little bit more for me today? And you're going to have days that's bad.
But that's knowing when to do that without having to be asked.
Yes.
Knowing how to read your person. Even
if we do have to ask, or sometimes we just don't realize, because sometimes I might not tell you how I'm feeling, or sometimes you definitely won't tell me that you're having a bad day, because you just muster through it. But just being able to just love life together, whatever that looks like, on every day, is that we love each other. No matter how bad the day is, we know the love never changes.
Yep.
So it could be the worst day, the happiest day. Our love is always the same. It actually gets stronger.
Stronger and stronger.
Stronger and stronger.
It's either you're growing together or you're going apart. You never stay the same. So if you're doing more good for each other, you putting each other first, you continue to keep growing, because it's either you're getting closer or you're going farther apart. Nothing stays the same.
And people change. People change. I don't care if people say people don't change. We all evolve. We are not the same people we were when we met. We're not the same couple we were when we met. And that's a great thing.
Yep.
Like you should not stay the same. You should always grow.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep growing. In the next 10 years, and we do this in 2 decades, we're going to be different people because we've grown. We've figured other things out in life. Like, we're going to be different. So people can change, but you have to want the change.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make it happen. You have to change yourself for the other person. And like, I've changed myself for you. You've changed yourself for me. Now, we've not compromised on our morals, our love for God. That was nothing that was ever going to be me wanting a kid, you wanting a kid. Like, things are just never, like, things we weren't going to compromise on. But that was like our foundation. But you just have to be willing to change to make things work in your life. But this has been the best 10 years of my whole life.
Yes.
Which just sounds crazy to say.
Yeah.
But it has been the best 10 years of my life. I love you more than I did yesterday, more than I did 10 years ago. I will love you more tomorrow. And I will love you more 10 years from now. Because,
Are you about to cry right
yep.
now? Go ahead, babe. It's okay.
Because you're my best friend, and I could not do life without you. I can't survive without you. You're literally my other half. Yeah, and you're my other little portion of the half.
See, switch that up. You're my whole.
Yeah, you are. I can't.
Because
I can't do life without him. He's my everything. And I feel so strongly about my love for you.
I love you.
I love you.
10 more years. 100 more years.
100 more years.
100 more years.
Because the way he's got us trying to be healthy, we might live to be 100. I'm trying.
But let's continue to keep doing this. We love y'all. Thank y'all for joining us on today's episode. We hope that y'all can take something back and learn at least one thing about maybe who we are, how you can maybe implement some of these principles that we have in our life, and how to overcome certain things. And just continue to keep loving each other. Communication, trust, compromise, knowing that you will have to cover somebody's 80 when they're 20%, and that's all that they can give. And just love life with each other. Be best friends. And always put each other first. Put each other first. And that does not mean that you're putting yourself on the back burner. Some days might be like that, but overall, if you're doing it for your person, you put them first all the time, you're actually doing it for yourself as well. So love yourself. Be great. We love y'all.
Love you.
See, we love you, podcast family.
I see you later on the next one.
All right. See y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all for joining the Muscle Mentality Podcast. We love y'all. Be great. Bang. Get your face in it when you do it.